department at the West Waco Library. Today we're going to talk about scout skills. So what are scout skills? Well, it's more than just learning how to survive in the wilderness. It's about learning some fun and useful tools that can help you when you're outside enjoying nature. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are tying knots. And I'm going to show you how to tie 3 different kinds of knots. The first knot that we will tie is called a bend. And a bend is when you tie 2 different ropes together. And the knot that we're going to be tying is a sheet bend. So I'm going to take this rope right here, put a little bite in it. So what we are going to do is go through the loop, around, over, and under, and then pull it taut. So here is how we tie 2 knots or 2 ropes together with the sheet bend. The next knot is a loop knot, and that's making a loop in your rope. We will be making a bowline loop, which is, I'm sorry, Jessica.
That's okay. No, you're fine.
Okay. Because I don't want to read it. You know, it's like I know it, but I don't want to read it. Okay. The next knot is a loop knot. That's making a loop in your rope. We'll be making a bowline loop, which is one of the most useful and popular knots to know, because you can use that to carry things or to move things or to even tie poles to the ground really easily. So I'm going to make a little circle, loop under, around, and through. And that's how you make your bowline knot. You see the loop right there? Okay, and the last knot that we're going to be working on is a hitch. And a hitch is when you attach an object to the end of the rope. So we are going to be doing a bunt line hitch. So here's my carabiner. Seen some better days. Okay. So we're going to go over, around again, under, and through. And this knot looks pretty funny until we tie it tight. So the important thing is that it stays together so that when you're using it, when you climb or attach something to it, it won't come apart. And all these knots are good to know because they stay secure, they don't get jammed, but you can untie them and undo them really easily. So you might be wondering, why do we need to learn knots? And the reason why is because they are very useful. There are a lot of careers and a lot of hobbies that you can be a part of that you would use knots in. So surgeons use knots, firefighters use knots, linemen who climb up on the poles and fix our electricity, they use knots. Also, when you're fishing or sailing or climbing, you would use knots to tie things together and make them safe and secure. So, okay, so I'm moving on.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a challenge for you. My challenge is for you to create an outdoor scavenger hunt. So make a list of things that you think that you can find in nature and go out and find them. So I'm going to tell you what's on my list, and I have it right here. So here's my outdoor scavenger hunt. So this says, find something colorful, find a pine cone, an acorn, something smooth, something rough, 2 kinds of leaves, 2 kinds of sticks, something bumpy, a flat rock, something fuzzy, something pretty, a chewed leaf, a flower petal, a piece of litter, and something that you think is a treasure. So you can use this, or you can add your own things. You can look for colors or shapes, anything that you think that would be fun to go out and find in nature. So put on your shoes, put on your coat, put on your hat, maybe in Waco winter. We don't really know what the weather's going to be, but go outside and see what you can find. So an important rule of scouting is to leave no trace that you were there. This is especially important when we're not on our own property. So if you're at your neighbor's house in their yard, if you're going on a hike, if you're going to the park, you want to make sure that you pick up all your litter, that you don't trample anything, that you don't mark your name on trees or destroy nests. So always be careful, considerate, and clean when you're outside. So here's some books that I want to talk about that have to do with going outside and playing. The first one is Run Wild by David Covell. So it's got beautiful, beautiful pictures in it, and it just encourages kids to go outside. So the next book is The Raft, and it's by Jim LaMarche, and it's a really great read because it's about a boy that goes to stay with his grandmother for the summer, and he has no TV, no screens, and he's not looking forward to it because he's going to be really bored. And he discovers a raft, and he discovers all the amazing things that he can do in nature. And the really awesome thing is that he learns that there are things that are more important than looking at a screen, and that's being with his family and being outside in nature. And the last book is This Moose Belongs to Me by Oliver Jeffers. And if you haven't picked up one of his books, you need to. We've got several in the library, and they're all beautiful and adorable and have a great story to them. So This Moose Belongs to Me is about a boy who thinks that the moose that roams around his house is his. And he's not a very good pet, but he still thinks he's his pet and he belongs to him. And throughout the book, he realizes that other people in the neighborhood think that that the moose belongs to them as well. And so he gets to the point where he realizes maybe the moose doesn't belong to anybody. So these are the 3 books that are really great for kids to read or to be read to. Now, I also wanted to include 2 other books, The Daring Book for Girls and The Dangerous Book for Boys. You're going to actually find these in the YA section, which is our young adult section. And the reason is because these books are advertised to girls and boys from 8 to 80 years old. So they're not for the younger kids, they're for a little bit older, but they have great ideas about things that you can